Hi there, everybody. Just wanted to make sure that I provided you with a verbal commentary over some clarification for our SSG training candidate attendance process. What the aim of this is over the next 5 minutes is just to clearly talk through what is our process for not only recording but then reporting a candidate's individual attendance. Each of you will have been sent out this through email by myself. It is also accessible through your online learning platforms, and it will also be accessible through any of your line management if you need to gain a copy. Okay. The following process is to be implemented throughout the department. So this is for every single course, cohort or individual candidate that is within SSG provision, be that pre-funded or funded. The collaboration between operations, business support and MIS will be provided a robust and efficient process of tracking, evidencing, reporting each candidate's attendance data. Okay, so stage one of a 6-stage process, as we can see, is an initial start for you guys from business support. Business support will, as always, provide a template which will have a list of candidates that have been assigned to that funded or pre-funded provision. Okay, so the full candidates' names will be on there as we expect to see them on any evidence for assessment, because that will be assigned to their certificate at the end of their course. It will also include the timings of that session, the start and end date of that session's course, the tutor and the venues detail prior to their first session. So basically, once we have the timetable for provision, business support will kindly create you a register and all the information will be on there. The tutor is given access to your register. So you will be sent through this through SharePoint. Okay. If you are delivering face-to-face, you must have a physical copy of your register. Okay, so from the first ever time you meet them in your first session, you will need to print out that template of your register and keep that. If you are at the Bedford Centre, there may be a submission process that happens. If you are virtual and you are if you are off-site and you are working remotely in Hertford, for example, then there may be a different policy for you keeping your register, but you must have a physical copy. Okay, to give you a heads up, any quality assurance visits that will take place, observations, learning walks, grade tracking, it will be the first thing we ask for is, can I see your register, please? Unfortunately, we don't want to see it always on electronic versions, okay, because you may not have access to that. We need to make sure though, guys, that you are following the GDPR processes and policy around keeping that information. So don't just leave it unattended. Please don't leave it in a vehicle or anywhere that isn't what we class as an agreed method of saving information. The registration of attendance for each individual candidate must be completed on the electronic SharePoint and the register within the first 10 minutes of your session. So if you have a timetable session 9 till 12 on a Monday morning, then by 9:10 that day, you should have entered the information of who is in your session and saved it. Okay. If later on in that day, or that session, sorry, somebody arrives late, then you change that unauthorized absence mark into a late mark, and then you add a comment to that. Okay. There will be multiple sessions in your day, and if that is the case, then you will have a new register for each of those sessions. If you stay with the group for the whole of the day, then you will have an AM register and a PM register. The key within the register template must be adhered to, guys. Okay, so whether you agree with it or not, the key that is found on the template, i.e. L for late or dash for attendance, whatever it may well be, must be followed. And this is because it helps business support, MIS, and the reporting of the register. Okay, It also means that if anybody else looks at your register, internally or externally, there is no confusion as to what is meant by a symbol on that form. Penultimately, the attendance data will then be accessed as required by business support team and MIS. So within periods of each day, the very busy business support team are communicating with externals on who is attending and who is not. But they're not the only people. Remember that this is a safeguarding document that we may well need to keep track on 16 to 18-year-olds and inform social workers, local authority, or even youth offending working officers, possibly even the police if there is a no-show. Okay. Alternatively, it is really, really important that we accept that this is a health and safety document. Okay. Hence why if you are face to face, we also need to have a hand copy that we can take out in the event of an emergency exit and then make sure that we have got nobody left behind in the building. Finally, it's to be expected that the tutors, assessors and the managers will utilise the registers to ensure a candidate's engagement and punctuality remains at a high standard. Okay, we know that there are patterns with attendance. So the earlier you can see those patterns, the greater the impact you will have on turning that behaviour around, of intervening in those patterns. Okay, so it is really important that as tutors, assessors and managers that you own those registers and they become part of the mandatory expectation and the first document that you look at every session. We acknowledge, guys, that the above process is our legal responsibility. Okay, we need to ensure that this is of the highest professional practice. All right, this isn't an option. It has to happen. Failure to knowingly not comply with this process could result in some kind of consequence down a disciplinary action. Okay, if you have any questions, any queries at all about what has just been said, or you want to read this in your own time and digest it, please come back to me, give me a call, invite me to a Teams meeting, or alternatively email me at danny.burke@ssgservices.co.uk, and then hopefully we can talk it through and I can answer any queries that you may have. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.